Good morning.
I guess we can start with the proverbial, how do you feel? What's bothering you right now?
Yeah, got a little ankle injury pretty early in the game. But one of those things is the week goes on, feel better and better, get some good rehab and work done on it, and just see how it goes. But luckily, the blessing is we play on Monday night, so an extra day of rest and recovery for me.
You've had a lot of nagging injuries this year, nothing super serious, but how do you kind of rehab? Do you have any routines that you like to go through, anything unorthodox?
I've had the same bodywork guy for 6 years now. Comes in every week, does what we need. He knows my body better than I do. He's a stud, so I call him my wizard. He knows what to do, so gets me ready for each week, and wouldn't have been able to survive without him. So that's the big routine thing that I do, and he's on a great same page with Bobby, our head trainer here. So got a good plan going into it.
Hyperbaric chamber, any of that stuff, acupuncture, any weird stuff?
A little acupuncture, hyperbaric's a little different, but no, I've used it before, but I don't have one here.
How are the ribs?
Ribs are recovering slowly. Didn't take any, impactful shots, but like we said last week, just eat with each day, it gets better and better.
Baker, how different does things feel now compared to when you think about that Week 3 game against the Eagles? It feels like it was a lifetime ago. I mean, maybe not to you, but I think when you look back to that and where this team is now, how different is this Buccaneers team? We
were really trying to find ourselves at that point in the season, trying to figure out who we were going to be, especially offensively. And, I think we've kind of realized what we're good at, the bread and butter for us. And also they've changed on defense. They've had some injuries, a different play caller now for them as well. Matt Patricia's calling it. So a little bit different variabilities, but it's got to handle it, got to prepare. And so luckily we have 4 games where he's been calling the games, and so we got to key into that and what's his go-to. But yeah, we're just different in the sense that we've, been more foundationally better and within the run game, knowing what we're good at scheme-wise, and just got to get the passing game back going again.
Baker, when you have games like this coming up, and even last week too, where the stakes are the highest, the margin of error is getting smaller and smaller, how does that impact your decision-making in-game, knowing that a sack, a turnover is just going to be heightened?
Yeah, for me, it goes back to how can we just move the chains, staying, when we have our shots, take them, but stay ahead of the chains, especially against a team like this that has a great front. They're aggressive, and it allows the secondary to play aggressive as well. So staying ahead of the chains for me, which is taking the easy completions, which definitely need to improve on from the past couple weeks, and go from there.
Have you noticed the change in the Eagles since Week 3, since your last?
Just a couple different coverage variations, things that he likes to do differently than Sean Desai did. So overall, it's very similar. It's not like they reinvented the wheel, but just a couple more, edge pressures with DBs and things like that of that nature.
What do you think's been missing over the last 2 weeks on offense that you want to see for Monday night?
We just got to, like I said earlier, I got to take the easy completions early on, keep ahead of the chains, get us going. And just, between the Saints game and the Carolina game, their fronts are really good against the rush. We ran the ball when we needed to with 6 minutes left in the game, so that's big time. But just got to get going early and start fast to where we can mix up our different plays.
There wasn't a lot of high expectations outside this organization, but I remember talking with Carlton Davis being in training camp, and he said, we're going to surprise a lot of people. At what point did you feel that this was a playoff caliber team?
From the first time I got here, just seeing the pieces that we had, if we could put it all together, you're looking at it and saying, all right, we have the pieces we need. Now, if we can put it together and string a few games together, then we'll see where it goes. And so we started fast, had that midseason lull, but then backs against the wall. This is got back to the same form we were preseason. Everybody counting us out and just leaning on each other, counting on each other, and that's where we've been so far in the end of the year. And so right now is no time to change your mindset. We've been in this one game at a time mentality for a while now, and now it's real. It's win or go home.
You seem to have a real sense of calm during pregame against the Panthers, or at least you projected it on the outside. I don't know if you felt that way on the inside, but even despite having an injury, what kind of gave you that, I guess, confidence that things would be okay? Does that just speak to the level of trust you've developed with these guys?
Absolutely. Not just offensively, but defensively as well. Knowing what we have there, and also trusting in Chase McLaughlin. So just knowing the pieces we have, knowing that you don't have to do anything special, do your job at the highest level you can. You don't have to be Superman, and the rest will take care of itself. So luckily we got bailed out by the defense and special teams, but it's time for us to carry our weight and improve, and what better time than now in the playoffs.
You guys won 5 out of 6. It wasn't a steady climb. I mean, you had a couple games where you were under 50%, had a big drive. against Atlanta, and then just knocked it out of the park for 2 weeks. And then the last couple of weeks, not so much on offense in terms of scoring touchdowns. So you've been injured. That's been part of the story, right? It's not all on the quarterback, but what do you think the kind of up and down sort of trend has been?
A lot of it starts with me. I'll be honest, taking the easy completions, taking the things that are there to put us in position to where Dave can call the plays that he wants to. And so just overall execution when it comes to little fundamental things that we were doing really well for a couple weeks in a row, just getting back to that and making sure we're doing those right and helping our defense out, letting them get a little bit more break on the sideline and go from there.
How do you kind of balance what your own potential limitations are with having a rib injury, an ankle that was sore, with attacking what a team like the Eagles might be most vulnerable in, which from tape it appears that it's through the air?
Yeah, I mean the best thing about their team, or their defense, is their front. I mean they've had a lot of studs there for a long time. And they just keep reloading them, so it's something that we have to be aware of, and we definitely are. But for me, it's just doing everything I need to do physically to get ready for the game and go from there, making sure we're all on the same page game planning wise, to where when we get those live reps, we're ready to roll.
I know you're laser focused for this Eagles game, but have you taken a second to look back at the season? I mean, career passing yards, touchdowns, completion percentage. Have you taken a moment to kind of just soak that in a little bit?
Not really, because those are all great things. I'm not going to, not say it, not acknowledge it at least. But our goal was much bigger than just winning the division, and for me to have a great year. We expected that within this building, and we're in the playoffs now, so it's singular focus on the Eagles.
What's it like? You remember it. You've been part of the playoffs before you've won a game. What's different about this week when not all the teams are practicing?
It becomes real when you see a lot of the changes that are happening not in your own building, and just knowing that we're in a scenario that not many people get to experience. And so for this organization to do it 3 years in a row, winning the division, it's pretty special. So, but it comes back to the small things. Teams in the playoffs don't beat themselves, and that's really what it is. It's not like there's some plays that they're making really special plays, but it's most of the time it's not beating yourselves, taking care of the ball, playing penalty-free for the most part, and so it goes back to even more of a hyper-focus.
You've spoken about your love of this locker room. It's one thing to leave the stadium at Bank of America to those chants of Baker, Baker, but when you met your teammates in the locker room after that and then that plane ride home, just what was that feeling like?
It was awesome. It was a feeling of gratefulness, to be honest with you, that, we knew what we had to do at the end of the year to accomplish that and to realize that we did it, and now we gave ourselves a chance in the playoffs. So that it was, being thankful for everybody, being focused every week at the end of the year and realizing that we're capable of doing this. So let's keep pushing.
What has kept you guys together as a team kind of through the ups and downs of the season?
Great leadership, everybody being on the same page, and so everybody else just kind of falls into line, and we understand what we need to get done. We know where we're at. It's been the same message and once everybody's on the same page, great things can happen. And I've been on the other side of that, where a lot of mixed messages, but this place is different, so we were able to focus on football and trusting each other in doing that.
They jumped on you guys early when you faced them back in September. Did you come off the field thinking, I know how we can attack these guys differently if we face them again?
Yeah, and like I said, we were a different team back then, and I think they were as well. We'll see what we can do, and we know their front is the strength, and we'll go from there.
Tristan said some things after the game, in the huddle, before you guys broke in the locker room, about how, hey, we're grateful for you guys that we haven't scored a lot in the last couple of weeks. There were games where you had to carry the defense too, but to have a defense the way they're playing, they're healthy. Is that something that you have to be cognizant of? Is that, look, we're going to win this as a team, and so I have to know that.
When they're playing like that, which is great, it's even more focused on taking care of the ball. Field goal game, field position game, realizing that if we just take care of the ball, we're going to be in this thing and have a chance to win. So, like I said, but it comes down to just moving the chains, giving ourselves a chance to score 3 or 7 every time and go from there.
Baker, when you look at the fact that you guys have played so much differently since week 3, in terms of being able to run the ball, put up 30 points in several games, how much of an advantage is that from a confidence standpoint?
It's huge. Just knowing that, mentioned it a couple times. We didn't know who we were offensively at that point. Just still trying to figure it out. So now we realize the schemes and run schemes, play schemes that we're really good at. So we got to attack it that way, build different formations to be able to do that, and just get after it. Thanks, guys.